Does the James Webb Space Telescope really exist? No, it does not, and I'm about to prove it to you in just 3 short minutes. Let's take a good look at its design real quick, because it's not very aerodynamic whatsoever, which it really would need to be. Look at this big mirror up top. This, traveling at speeds of Mach 10, would be like a big parachute. It would just be ripped right off of the rocket that's supposedly carrying it. Second of all, they want us to believe that this tiny little solar panel right here is keeping this thing powered 24/7 while it's flying through space. We can't even get an electric car to travel more than 300 miles without having to be plugged back in. And yet they're powering this thing 1,000,000 miles from Earth with this tiny little solar panel. Dang, why don't they share this technology with the rest of the world? That's aluminum foil, guys. Aluminum foil. Just a really thick version of it. Let me show you something interesting. The James Webb can orbit the sun at only traveling at 32,000 miles per hour, while Earth has to go 66,000 miles per hour to orbit the sun. All the while the sun is traveling at 500,000 miles an hour. Well, how is something going 32,000 miles an hour running circles around something going 500,000 miles an hour? None of your math adds up. As it travels through space, the solar wind reaches speeds of over 1,000,000 miles per hour. Well, I just showed you its design. Shall we take another look? Look at these sheets of thin aluminum, very thin. Look at these little panels that's holding it on. 1,000,000 miles per hour? Give me a break. It would tear this little Cracker Jack box into shreds. This thing would be torn off the top. This panel right here would be ripped off the bottom, and all of this aluminum foil right here would just be ripped to shreds. It's impossible, guys. So they strapped this telescope to a rocket, okay, and launched it into space. Well, look how hot the surface of the rocket gets upon leaving Earth's atmosphere. 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit, guys. 6,000 degrees. The melting point of aluminum, just 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit. There's no physical possible way that it could withstand those temperatures. And they expect us to believe that it's flying through all of this space debris, cosmic dust, rocks, meteors, and asteroids, and never hits anything, never needs cleaned, never needs maintenance.
How old were you when you realized this is what our stars actually look like? How old were you when you realized that what you were taught was incorrect? As technology advances, us humans have the ability to see the stars like the people in the governments and the people in NASA are able to. The only difference is we're seeing something different than what they taught us. Now, why is that? Can't hide it from us anymore. So my suggestion to you, NASA, is to repent. To tell the people the truth. Mainstream truth. Because if not, if you continue to lie to us, you're going to be judged for that. Because you can clearly tell that these are underwater. That there is literally water above us. Now you can pretend to be ignorant and keep listening to what they say, but look, they are actually catching it on high-powered telescopes. This is not what we were taught that they look like. We can keep playing this game of going around and listening to someone who doesn't care about us, or we can wake up and see the truth for ourselves.
How to easily debunk flat earthers. First thing, remind them about the Big Bang Theory, because theories are absolute facts. Ridicule the use of YouTube for educational purposes, because any idiot knows that they can find more information in textbooks and public libraries than can be found on the internet. Tell them to go back to school, because information is only true when it comes from authority. Show them pictures and videos from outer space. It's obvious that they've never even considered this before, and there's no way that pictures or video could ever be fabricated or manipulated. Never ever do your own research. Instead, ask these flat earthers to explain every inch of detail about the theory to you. If they can't do it, just laugh in their face. And if they can do it, just get upset and say things like science and gravity a lot. When they simply just won't listen to any reason, take them up to a place with the high vantage point and simply show them the curve of the Earth. There it is, friend. The curve of the Earth. Let me just pan up a little bit here. Oh wait, wait, what's happening to the curve? When it's all said and done, stop watching videos with titles like these and maybe actually go do a little research yourself.
Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go.
The kinds of technologies that we're testing out on Space Station are definitely helping us with our goals of going beyond low Earth orbit.
Early in the next decade, a set of crewed flights will test and prove the systems required for exploration beyond low Earth orbit.
And this is really the beginning, I think, of human beings leaving low Earth orbit.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
I haven't seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence, and as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
Unfortunately, I'm afraid I can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up and whether it still exists or not.
Right. Truth is out there, you just gotta find it. Look at this. It's just a conspiracy. Alright guys, let me show you something here. We all know the flat earth. It's on the UN flag, right? And here we have a newspaper. Philadelphia Inquirer, 1964. And this is a series, special reports, and it's called Historical Events That Shape Our World. Funny they say shape our world. Anyway, this map here, as you can see, is the exact map on the UN flag. You notice what's missing. You got it. Antarctica. I wonder why. I'll show you some more. All these newspaper articles showing versions of the globe, if you will. But the one thing they're missing is Antarctica. No Antarctica anywhere. Another one. They have a funny version of the North Pole, which to me, I still think it might be a magnetic mountain, hence why compasses work. But here, all they have is a nipple. Looks like a nipple. Again, these maps are all missing Antarctica. Now somebody could say, oh, it's at the bottom of the globe. But why would they make all these illustrations and not show the entire planet? Even this one, this is more of a modern interpretation. Again, Antarctica should be down here at the bottom, but it's not. Again, we have the North Pole, which looks like a nipple. Again, one after the other, North Pole nipple, missing Antarctica. Alright, they got Australia, they got everything else. Antarctica is missing in action for some reason. Well, I'll show you why in a second. I think you already know where I'm going with this. Not to mention their stupid version of how people got to the moon. Which we know that never happened either. But anyway, foolishness. Absolutely foolishness. Again, another map. Again, missing Antarctica. Funny thing is, this first one is actually an exact copy of the Gleason's map to a T. So these guys at the UN know what the Earth looks like. The reason there's no Antarctica is because it's not in the world. It's surrounding the world. And they know it. And that's why it's not in these illustrations. Another thing is, any flat earther knows who's making up these lies. We all know it. Let's show it. Yes, I'm using their money. Anyway, this is Morals and Dogma. And in their book, you know they use the square and compass. The square is a right angle formed by two right lines. It is adapted only to a plane surface and belongs only to geometry. Earth measurement, that trigonometry which deals only with planes and with the earth which the ancients supposed to be a plane. Again, these guys know it, and they're lying to the world. Again, I got their dirty Illuminati money here as a bookmark. Again, in their own book, the square is an instrument adapted for plane surfaces only, and therefore appropriate to geometry or measurement of the Earth, which appears to be, and was by the ancients supposed to be, a plane. So therefore, it is natural and appropriate symbol of this Earth and the things that belong to it. But, of course, the compass is equally important and natural and appropriate symbol of the heavens and all celestial things and celestial natures. So basically, when people say, oh, the Earth has to be a ball because everything in space is a ball, well, not necessarily. The square is for flat Earth. The compass is for the heavenly bodies. They know what's flat and they know what's round. And they've been lying. Let's continue to expose them. God bless.
Okay, so basically the sun and moon go around, and the stars for that matter, like hands on a clock, okay? You have dead center, that's the North Pole, and Polaris is directly above it. That's why all compasses point north, and that's why as you're going east and west, you're just doing circles around that, and north is always pointed towards that center point, okay? It's not a globe, this is how it is. Water is inside there, and it's flat. This is the container that's holding our water in, okay? Up is the same direction for everyone. So when you got somebody in Australia here, and they're looking at the moon is always between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer, okay? So when you're looking up here at the moon, and I'm looking from here, from Vancouver Island, I'm looking up here at the moon, okay? Once it's a half moon or anything like that, it's really noticeable, but I guess even a full moon, you are seeing from this vantage point, I'm seeing from this vantage point. So imagine there was a 6 drawn on the ceiling of a room. You're on one side of the room, I'm on the other side of the room. To you, it's gonna look like a 6, to me, it's gonna look like a 9, okay? It just depends on which angle you're looking at it from. So it's the same as the moon. We always see the same face of the moon, we just see it from an opposite angle. And that's why people from over here will see it different at that time. Okay, depending on where you are is going to depend on which angle you're looking at that moon. But it's always the same face. And it's because it's not a sphere like they say it is. It's same with the sun. They're not spheres. They are circular, but it's actually basically a plasma that's in our atmosphere. It's the moon is the anode and the sun is the cathode, okay? The negative polarity and the positive polarity. But they are materializing here from the black sun's magnetism, which is attracting all compasses there, and the dielectricity of Polaris, the North Star, that's above it. Okay, the intersection of the magnetism with the dielectricity is what creates the positive and negative polarity as it goes around. So everyone is seeing it from their own unique position on our plane, but the actual dielectricity still comes down in a straight line, and that's why you have the Freemasons adopted the square and compass. That's what it represents. Okay, anyway, so yeah, that's why you see the opposite side of the moon.
Wow, what is that? Wow.
Look at that. What is that?
Don't know. That's weird. Did we get hit? Wow, let me go, man. That was close. That's tupad lang nato, no?
Because people were looking at the thing.
Yeah, and the people are not paying attention. And the guy he was behind me, right? And this guy just went over around me and just pas daga niya.
That is car brakes.
Well, there's two. There's one right there, and the second one is two.
Guys, we need to see
wow, look at that.
We need to see if our car had a dent.
Yo, I got scared in that accident. Like, we should just stay there, man.
Hey guys, here's a couple of my flat earth maps. It's so interesting to study about Antarctica because they have this Antarctica treaty in the 50s. The governments were exploring Antarctica and they found some stuff out and they didn't want to tell anybody. Operation Fishbowl. There's a lot of stuff if you'll research it. But Antarctica is actually not a continent. It's actually a 360-degree ice wall that goes around the geocentric flat Earth. It holds the seas in. And anywhere you try to go to the Antarctica, like the closest place over here, they do have tours and they allow some people to go there. And it's kind of close. But if you'll notice, everywhere else on the ice wall, it's so far away. Like, there's the size of the United States. Well, look how many, it's like 2 to 3 United States just to get to the edge. So that's why no one goes to it. That's why it's such a secret. And that's why people can be fooled.
I was in the